Hello, Hopkinton. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of the Hopkinton Hangout Hours. I'm today's host, Matt Clark, and joining me today is the HCAM team. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, Matt.
Hello. Hi. So, well, let me begin with a little bit of an anecdote. Back when I was in high school, specifically before I could drive, me and my friends would often go out to eat a lot after school, specifically on half days. We'd go to Bill's, or eventually when Bill started to get too busy, we would go. My favorite spot was to go to Kalela's for sandwiches. But afterwards, we would always kind of just hang around town a little bit and wonder what to do, because as many great places to eat in town as there was nothing else besides that. At least back 10 years ago when I was in early high school, all there is in town we felt like was, to go somewhere to eat. But nowadays that's not really that much of a bad thing when you can't really go out in town anyways, and you don't always want to cook, and there's a lot of great places still open to get takeout. And one of the best things we can do in this time of hardships is to support our local small businesses and keep them going as much as we can. And if you don't have to cook, that's another plus. So what we're talking about today is, our favorite place to get takeout. So anyone want to start off?
Well, it's interesting you started off with an anecdote like that, because it just made me think how much I miss the Kalela sandwiches. They were the best. Oh my gosh, I love those so much. And another thing, when I was growing up, I grew up in Dudley, and a big night out for us was to go to the Hawaiian 1220, which was kind of like a Polynesian type food. And ever since then, poo-poo platters and all that kind of stuff, I always loved that. I haven't really found anything like that around here, but I do love Chinese food. So oftentimes I like to get that. And even a couple weeks ago, I was getting it, and my daughter thanked me for supporting a Chinese restaurant, because there had been a lot, of anti-Chinese restaurant sentiment going on.
Yeah.
So it actually made me feel good getting Chinese food too.
Jim, I have to mention those sandwiches at Kalela's. It was like you get the chicken salad sandwich, and one bite, half of the sandwich comes out, and you still have a full sandwich, because they just packed it with so much stuff. And who could forget about the daily specials and the little self-service buffet? Oh my goodness! And we used to have to get a lot. You used to have to get there before 12, because people would get there real fast and just take all this, especially the wings. Oh, the chicken wings were to die for.
Right.
I think during the work week, I was good for Kalela's about 4 to 5 times a week. Just so good. Everything there. Great potato salad, too.
If I worked at HCAM when Kalela's was still there, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
Right. And then since you started, what was your favorite place to walk to since you started there?
Oh, I love to go to Snappy Dogs.
Yes.
Snappy Dogs.
When I started, they were actually at Weston Nurseries, but they're back again at CVS, which is great. I don't have to drive there now, but I love them.
Yeah. I have to say, I have a different perspective on takeout, because I'm never been much of a takeout aficionado. I always like Chinese takeout and pizza. Everybody's had that. But it just always seemed to me like when I was working late, midnight shifts or something like that, and we do takeout and bring it in, it was never as good for me as going to a restaurant, sitting down and enjoying myself. So it'd be tough for me to say what my best takeout is right now. But I do remember the sandwiches at Kalela's and have on occasion taken part in those. Those are really good. So I'm looking forward to hearing this conversation, so maybe I can get some ideas as to what to do for takeout.
Well, one of the things that's become very important to me is which restaurants support gluten-free eating. That's very important to a couple people in my family. And this is my little soapbox moment. I find it very, very difficult when, you can have the pizza, but it's $2 more for the dough. I always want to say, isn't it bad enough that these people have to suffer and have to look for these kind of things? Now we have to charge everybody else an extra quarter to make up for the difference of the cost in the gluten-free pizza dough. So that aside, there are the restaurants that do it right are awesome. In fact, our most favorite restaurant, which is too far for takeout, is the Gibbet Hill Grill, way up 495. It's like half an hour, 45 minutes. We love that. That's a nice place.
Is that the place that does the weddings?
Yes.
I did a wedding there. Unbelievable.
It's really delicious. So, but locally, there are 3 places that are always my go-to place. Obviously, well, the 110 Grill, because we're really close. And whatever you want, they'll make it. It's already gluten-free, or they can make it gluten-free on the menu.
Yep.
Go down an exit on 485 and go to Red Heat in Milford. That place, you don't even have to say anything, and you can get everything gluten-free. Or you go north one exit up into Westboro, and you go to Arturo's. They do they do an excellent job of gluten-free as well. And if you go down 135, by the way, La Cantina, that was one of our favorite ones. Our family used to be a Bertucci's family, but when my son got celiac and we couldn't go to Bertucci's anymore because Bertucci's, it's time to get with it. It's 2020 now. You need to do a gluten-free option. We found La Cantina, and they have very good gluten-free there too.
You can't say get 2020 with Bertucci's. They still cook with wood.
Hey, wood fried pizza is good stuff.
No, it is. That's just Jim making no sense. Hey, get in the modern age.
Yeah, but Jim, I know that Bertucci's over in Holliston, they have gluten-free pizza, but we've been there a couple times. This was maybe 3 years ago, and I hesitate to say it, but gluten-free just doesn't help unless it's really well done.
Yes, and in fact, one of my son, like we always rate them because there's Pizza Palace in Milford that does gluten-free pizza. Yep. And the number one gluten-free pizza in my son's estimation is Bill's Pizza. It's the best.
Never had that.
Yeah. In fact, it's really interesting because he tries not to make it number one because I also make pizza at home. And so if my pizza becomes number 2, then I'm done. Bill's is very good.
Yeah, we'll have to try that because Jane likes she eats gluten-free all the time, and we've gone up to Maine and found places up there. But again, that's not anything that was any good for takeout. We just have to eat it there and move on.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I heard Chinese food mentioned. A great place for Chinese food, Mandarin in Milford. It's in the Gold's Gym Plaza. It used to be the Stop and Shop Plaza, but they have since moved. But Mandarin Milford, excellent stuff. I just had them last week. They have the poo-poo platter. They call it the Bobo platter. And they also have good sushi as well, if you like sushi. But it's not only Chinese food there. They got Japanese, Thai food, all kinds of different stuff. It's a huge menu. Really good.
I haven't been to Milford Mandarin since high school.
Oh, it's changed so much. And the food is fantastic there. I've never had it for takeout. I've always ate in the restaurant. I never had it for takeout. So that's why I could judge. I think Milford Mandarin has the best Chinese food in the area.
I always liked their rice a lot because it has bean sprouts in it, which are delicious.
All right. So have you guys gone to Jade Garden in Upton?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've been there. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Do you find the Mandarin better than Jade Garden?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to say Mandarin is, I think, the best around this area.
Really?
I have to try Mandarin again.
Try that because I really like Jade Garden. So.
And we all know who has good Chinese food around here. We get the deliveries.
Yeah.
But we used to have staff meetings together. Not like this. Is the Rose Garden in Southborough, around the Southborough Ashland line.
Yeah.
Their food is, I think, the best. That's my favorite takeout food. Is from there. Chinese takeout is from there. Better than Dynasty's, better than Cherry Blossom or Hanto or anyone else. I think they're top notch. Again, for takeout. I never eat it in there for a restaurant though. I just got it to go.
Chinese food is made for takeout.
Oh,
it actually is.
Like you just take it home and you just sit on the couch and you just have it.
It's still good the next day if you have leftovers.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better the next day.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's Italian food. Italian takeout, or Italian food in general is always better the next day.
Oh yeah.
Any kind of pasta dish.
I go to Arturo's. My favorite meal at Arturo's is the chicken broccoli ziti in the white wine sauce. Oh, and I eat half of it and I eat Caesar salad and I buy a second Caesar salad. And the next day I have the other half and the other Caesar salad. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Arturo's is good stuff. That's the place in Westboro, right?
Yes. Yep. Used to be a CVS.
Yes, that's. I actually have a friend who's a cook there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. His name's Juan, and he's an unbelievable cook.
Yeah. Have you heard? Are they doing all right?
They are doing takeout. I haven't heard financially how they're doing, but we're hoping it's okay.
When this whole thing came down, we went on their website and had a big thing talking about they had the hardest day in their life where they had to let go of, I think, like 40 or 50 people or something like that. And they were converting to a takeout thing. So we were like, you know what? We should really kind of show our support for them and go there a few times. And the first time wasn't as long, but the second time, the line of cars circled the whole entire parking lot.
Wow.
To get in there. So I felt really good that a lot of people were supporting them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great business. And I was just doing a little research. They are doing delivery now.
I know, but not to my town. We're only doing Westboro and Southboro. I checked into that.
My family's been doing the same thing at the Spoon. Like we've been trying to order from them at least once a week. Just try to help them.
Takeout?
Yeah. Because they have like a special every day, and then like a bunch of other smaller things that you can pick up curbside.
Yeah.
And take home and heat up. And they've been good. We got the fish and chips a few weeks ago. We had the pot pie one week. We got the baked French toast on Easter. It's been good.
Yeah, I love fish and chips. I just love seafood. You know, one of my favorite meals is just a fish sandwich. Oh, because I love bread and I love fish and chips. So those two good things together. Hey, Mike, I think you should pull up that
I got it up right now.
That you created, because this is, I think this is really cool. If you're looking for what's open, what the status is, Mike's got you covered.
Yeah, so I created this little web page that lists all the Hopkinton restaurants in town and gives us updates on their hours and what they're providing for services. And this is well, when I say updated daily, it is more or less a list that, as I hear the changes, I will update it. So it's pinned to the top of our website, and if you go to the top of the website, there's a link inside this list here. And in the list, it'll give you everybody from the 110 Grill, which happens to be closed. Out of 23 restaurants on here, only 6 are closed in Hopkinton that I know of as of today.
Wow.
And it's a shame. All want to be there. Hopyo, they're technically closed, but they have this online version. I've been in touch with the owner to find out what the deal is there. So that will be hopefully updated today. But Hopyo is offering this one family frozen yogurt thing with 2 flavors and 4 toppings for $20. You send them an email. It's a Google form that you go to, and then you make arrangements with the owner on how to get it, and they bring it up.
Interesting.
To your car. It's Snappy Dogs. I just talked to Peter Mezitt this morning, which we'll see after this show. And we even mentioned Snappy Dogs. They are pushing back their closing. It will be beyond April 16th at this point, as we know now. It's going to go past that. They had judging waiting on the new orders, and people watched the governor today and told us about the schools closed indefinitely. That's going to give you an idea how long this is going to be stretched out for. So look out here, the websites, what special hours, what they're doing for deliveries or curbside. And I love the Spoon. I mean, they're not only giving you takeout, but they're also giving you options of pre-made lasagnas, chicken pot pies, all these meals that throw it in the oven when you're ready. So you're still doing something.
Right.
That's a great service.
Yeah. And I tell you, they're not. It costs a lot of money to keep a kitchen open,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So to keep a kitchen open for a day, and these businesses are doing it. And I won't mention one of my favorites, but talking with the owners, they had a fantastic day on Thursday. Technically, they only made $80 because by the time you pay out the food and whatever, and the operation of how much it keeps the kitchen open, they made $80. And you know what? The other days they lost money, but they're doing it because the need is there. They want to service the community.
You know what?
And
I'd like to give a little highlight on something, Mike, because we were chatting the other day, and I think this is really important. You were helping to run deliveries for Cornell's.
correct.
And tell me what you were saying that Cornell's did a few days ago.
So what Cornell's was doing is this. Well, several things. They've done several. One, they offered uh, for families kids menus. You order off the kids menu, you get it for free for your kids. That's one of the things. But what you're talking about is feeding the first responders and the frontline people, right?
Yep.
They last week brought, I don't know, it was 10 or 20 pizzas for the doctors and nurses at Milford Regional Hospital. Next Saturday, they'll be feeding Hopkins first responders, police and the fire departments. They'll be bringing pizza and wings and so forth to feed them. They just, these are the guys, and this is why I get emotional over it, because I go there and I do all these fundraisers or whatever, and I'm looking for raffles. They're there. What can we do for you all the time? Now it's time to do for them. They're always there helping the community. They have parties. They let you use the space. They make you platters for special deals because they want to support the community. They're all about the community. They do all their shopping locally. The chicken pot pie that I had was because the owner of Cornell's went to the Spoon and bought 10 of them so she could give out to people and just to support the business because they love Sammy and Bill and vice versa. So in these restaurant owners, it's a small community. They stay in touch. Everyone knows what's going on, and they decide what's worth it, what's not worth it.
Yeah, and I think that even while they're struggling, that's a great example of Cornell's doing that, and a lot of other places are just really there for community.
TJ Spirits closed their doors because they couldn't do it. And then the local laboratory on Chestnut Street in Ashland gave them a grant to feed needy people. And they put out last week over 800 meals for free. Such a success. The owner of the lab is doing it again this week. So
Wow.
TJ's is feeding the needy all week long. And if anyone ever ate at TJ's, anyone considers them an Ashland restaurant. I mean, they're right on the line, dude.
Yeah.
That bar is split down the middle, and they decorate the bar one side Ashland, one side Hopkinton. They and they're Hopkinton people, and these guys here, they're going to be there when hopefully we all come back sometime soon. And I hope everyone just goes back and remembers them.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. One thing I like to make sure we get in, because I'm interested if people found this, is we're big ice cream people in our family. And there's a local ice cream place that we were so excited to find that they were open. But when I got there, I had to turn around and I had to leave and had to come back to my family without any ice cream. And the reason was because even though they were open, nobody was wearing gloves and nobody was wearing masks.
No precautions.
And it's just, I mean, you know what? That's just too much. They're leaning over the ice cream stuff. Has anybody found an ice cream place that's open that are taking precautions?
I haven't found any ice cream places that are
Well,
open.
I know the Spoon still has a limited ice cream.
Dairy
They
Queen
brought over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, DQ's open. I'm not sure if Murphy's in Ashland open.
Well, I usually go over to Ullman's in Westboro, but with the stay in place, we haven't been out traveling around very much. So I don't. They usually open later on in the season, but sometimes they've been open this early.
Right.
Almonds used to be our favorite spot.
It's the best.
Oh,
I remember when the cows, when they were real cows out there.
My wife knows ice cream like you wouldn't believe. Okay, and one of the best currently is JJ's in
I
Up.
heard about that.
Yes.
Oh, it's good.
It's got the little mini golf on the hill.
Yeah. Does it have the mini golf?
Is that the one that's on 140 on the right hand side as you go to Milford?
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mini
It
golf.
used to be called Scoops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I put one of the septic systems in there. That's how I remember it.
We're talking about food, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, another place I sorely miss, although not so much for takeout, but is the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, they're good.
I mean, no matter what you want, they got it. My favorite is the Thai lettuce wraps. Oh, so good.
I never ate at a Cheesecake Factory.
You're kidding.
No, and you know where else I never ate it? You guys are gonna be shocked. I never had Taco Bell.
What? I've also never had Taco Bell.
I've never been to a Taco Bell. Hey, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
We
Their
found the only
commercials-
man on the face of the earth who's never been to Taco Bell.
I mean, I've been at McDonald's at 2, 3 in the morning, like Wendy's or whatever, but I've never been at Taco Bell for whatever reason. And they look so good because I love tacos. And I like how they put that soft thing with the cheese in the middle around the hard shell and what. And they're like, I never had it. And then everyone tells me, oh man, it's the worst thing ever. I want it.
I love fast food. I love cafeteria food. I just really like junky food. I've never had Taco Bell either.
You're either gonna love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wanna
I
go
can't
in-
imagine I would.
You want to go box stores? I love KFC. I
Oh,
was
really?
always a fan of it when it used to be the big spinning bucket that we went to in Revere.
Yeah.
And big spinning bucket. And one of my favorite things I get today, it's the Fiesta Bowl, mashed potatoes, corn, nuggets, and gravy.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh, that is like so good. But their chicken's good.
Yeah, I had a bad experience here a couple years ago and haven't been back since. Because I used to love it a lot too.
I just ate there over the weekend.
I don't even know. Do
from
they
there.
have buckets? Do they have buckets
yeah.
anymore?
Oh yeah, we just got one.
You mentioned Dairy Queen. The
Yeah.
thing I love about Dairy Queen, I would always say McDonald's has the best French fries. I actually like Dairy Queen's better.
Dairy Queen is better.
Agreed.
Woo! They put so much salt on there, and I love salt. And there's the nice crisp consistency.
And it's thicker. It's a thicker fry.
Yes, it's like a McDonald's French fry, but it's thicker.
Like a fat McDonald's French.
They do last longer than McDonald's fries.
Yeah. Yes,
I
they do.
also, just so you know, I also know that my mother is watching this, so my blood pressure is good. I do have.
Well, one of my favorite Dairy Queen dishes, the fish sandwich. It's
Yeah.
a fried fish sandwich, really good.
I just
My-
like to go to Dairy Queen for blizzards.
Yeah, my dream has always been to retire to the Cape and just eat seafood every single day.
Okay, well, see, you're bringing me to sort of a different subject. How about your favorite roast beef places? You know, I mean, you got your
Don't get me
burger
started.
joints, you got your burger joints, but you got your roast beef places like Riley's roast beef, Bob's roast beef, Kelly's roast beef. You got roast beef places. How about anyone got a favorite of those?
Well, it would have been Kelly's at the
Jordan's.
Jordan's Furniture, but that closed down like 2 years ago.
That
Yeah,
was,
they're opening back up again. No,
What?
not there.
oh,
They're coming.
where are they going?
Kelly's, look it up, but Kelly's is coming to Natick again. They're opening up 10 more stores in New England.
Oh, that's great. We love Kelly.
Yeah, I heard that coming in. I heard that coming today. Well, I grew up with the only one on Revere, and we used to get our clam plate or our roast beef sandwich, sit on the seawall with the. Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was so
I
good.
love that. I was so disheartened when I went to see Black Panther in IMAX 2 years ago.
Yes,
When we find out that Kelly's was closed.
that was unbelievable.
Yeah, they had the jellyfish tanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
we
pretty
actually
cool.
we went there just for that, and it was closed. But I mean, my family always ridicules me. But hey, we're all friends here.
Well, has anyone? I know this. There's one I think is Peabody, but has anyone been to a Sonic?
No.
I've been to a Sonic.
That stuff looks so good. Their drinks look so fun.
You
and
know what?
fruity.
Well, they always look
it-
good on TV.
You feel like you're going back to the 1960s. You feel
Yeah,
like
it's the
this
car
is
hop,
awesome.
right?
I did not really. I don't really think that the menu kind of lived up to
Yeah, I don't like eating in my car.
that you have. You know?
I don't like eating in my car like
I
that.
don't
But I tell you, I think I'd like to try it. You know, I gotta try it one of these days.
So
we had
I
a-
like Arby's. No,
Oh, Harvey's.
my family ridicules me, but I don't know. I just do.
Arby's is good.
Nice
Yeah.
roast beef
I
sandwich.
don't think I've ever been.
Well, the only one around here for like 1,000 miles is in the Salmon Pond Mall.
I was just gonna say, how
That one's
about
still
the
there?
mall
Wow.
restaurants? What? Real quick, we only got like 4 minutes left.
Yep.
Real quick, mall restaurants that are no longer around.
Mm.
Can some think of some good names?
Ooh, I got one.
Taco Bell.
It's around.
There used to be one in the Natick Mall. It was a burger place called Flamers. And the only ever time I remember getting there once when I went to the mall as a kid with my mom. And then I saw it also in DC when I went on the DC trip in 8th grade. So that was the 2 times I ever had there. But the first time I had it at the Natick Mall, it was so good because they put so much cheese on the burger that it dripped off the burger onto the fries. It was amazing.
My favorite is Johnny Rock.
13-year-old me.
That's a good one.
But it's not around here anymore.
Yeah, I get the best one that you guys will say, really? And well, Bob and Jim might. The other two, forget about it. York Steakhouse.
Sure.
Oh, I've heard of that place.
That's why I said the mall steakhouses. Those were ones that were always in the mall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I was in there one day with my wife and my daughter when she was just about a year old. And the guy sitting at the table next to me with his wife and daughter was Johnny Mose.
Wow.
Really?
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Wow.
That's
cool.
so cool.
So that's how good it was. Even a star like him would eat there.
I was also thinking of like beefsteak Charlie's, and of course, who hasn't been? Oh, it's gone, but the sign's still there. The Hilltop.
Yeah.
You know, great places.
Well, I gotta give a shout out to my friends at Cafe Sorrento. Great pizza. Great.
I knew that was coming.
I don't think I ever would have known that unless you told me about that. And Linda and I went, and it was really, really good.
Oh, the food there is awesome.
There.
Yeah.
I love the food there.
I want to mention before we finish up, one of my favorite places to go in college. I went to college in the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts in North Adams, up in the northwest corner of the state, about 2.5 hours away from here. There was a pizza place in town, and it was the best because it accepted the money that our school gave us on our IDs, we didn't actually have to pay ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, we did, but not at the time. And they were open till like 3:00 in the morning. It was called Village Pizza. And a theater group that I was in college introduced me to them. They had the best, it was called cheesy bread. It was basically pizza without the sauce, and it was cut into like breadsticks. I don't know what they did with that stuff. That stuff was like crack. And I miss it so much.
What, the crack or the bread? I had to do that. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
Hey, does anyone remember Valley's Steak and Lobster?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Chestnut Hill,
Yep.
I think was one. And was there one in Boston? I'm trying to remember the other ones.
Did
Oh,
anybody go
Valley.
to Bugaboo Creek when I was around here?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
I used to love that place.
Oh,
Yeah.
the first time that friggin' I'm standing waiting in the hall.
The
and there's a
Bunyan
Christmas-
Onion.
No, I got the friggin' Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And the Christmas tree, eyes plop out. He starts talking to me. And, oh,
No,
Yeah,
We
that
went
scared
to the
crap out
one
of
in
me
the
as a kid.
Arsenal Mall. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Waltham.
oh, the Arsenal.
We used to love going there. They just never
A lot
changed.
of time.
And then-
Actually, I saw Drew
Watertown.
Bledsoe at Bugaboo Creek once.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old, and I was wearing a Bledsoe jersey, and the waiter goes, "Are you a football fan?" I would go, "Yeah." He goes, "Go look behind the fireplace." It was Drew Bledsoe.
Ah,
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's cool.
Well, we do gotta wrap up this because Mike. Well,
Yeah,
let's
I'll
just get into it. Yeah, Mike
I'll
and
be
Bob,
back later, but you get what the rest of the stuff coming on. But I'll be back.
Yeah. Mike and Bob earlier today we're talking with Peter Mezitt about gardening and everything. And he couldn't be around for the show, but we have a video of that conversation. So why don't you take it away, Mike?
Thanks, Matt. And hey, here we are today for get a little green, get a little bit outside. Being inside, we need to get outside. Bob Hamilton, happy to be with Peter Mezitt from Weston Nurseries. How you doing, Peter?
Good. How are you, Mike?
Hi, Peter. Thanks for joining us today.
We're doing as good as can be expected, being stuck indoors. But we're hoping that you can bring us some fresh air and give us some good tips, some good stories. But first, I got to ask, how you and the family doing?
We're doing great. No one's gotten sick, and we've been playing by the rules as good as anybody, I guess. I've got 2 college-age kids at home, including one who missed his graduation party event. And we've got a friend of the family in as well. So it's actually 4 kids, 4 hungry mouths to feed every day, and everybody's okay. We get really busy in the spring. I think that's been a good thing because we're staying open. We're an essential business, and that allows us to keep our minds pretty busy during the
Sure. Oh, it's very essential because, got to keep your yards up, right? Got to keep your yards up. Well, I think that by you staying in business and staying open, you always know this community. I don't have to tell you, you're a townie, and community means everything. And do you see a lot of that community spirit now in the store?
Yeah, we do. It's funny. Our industry has been declared essential, and it took a while, so we didn't know where we were going to stand. But it is the time of year with our whole supply chain depends on being able to sell time-sensitive plants. And, the main reason we were declared essential is, I think, you have a lot of food and vegetable starts and seeds and tools that go along with that, also fruit trees and shrubs. And we're seeing a big movement, and that's what's selling, actually, is people starting their own little victory gardens at home again because they're stuck at home. And the other side of that is they want something to do. So, we sell trees and shrubs and perennials as well, and it gives a lot of possibilities for people to work outside. It was really warm 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we saw a big surge right out of the gate when this thing started. Now it's cooled off a little bit.
And I'm sure the 5 inches of snow didn't help anything.
Oh, yeah. No, that day was a bust. It kind of threw us back into reality. Here we go. We got, 5 inches in February and March. You don't just 5 inches in April.
And you don't just lose a day when something like that happens. Even though it was gone on Sunday,
it wasn't all gone until noon on Sunday, so you're right. Even Sunday wasn't that good. The weather is still the most important factor in our industry.
Right, and it always has been. Just like many years of doing the construction myself, and how weather plays and so forth. So, what are you finding that people trying to do most? You think they're doing their little vegetable gardens, herb gardens, or they just decided to dress up the yards? What do you think people are going to do?
A lot of food and herbs this year. What we've done is we set up a drive-through. So even though we're essential and we can have up to 10 people in our store, our Hopkinton store is really tight, and our staff really didn't want that, just in order to be able to feel like they're working in a safe environment. So we did close our store, and we've kept it closed, and we will continue to keep it closed. And we closed our outside sales area, which we'll look at that in the upcoming weeks. But right now we've set up 2 drive-through shopping lanes.
Yeah, and you call it point, pick, and pay, right? A nice little thing. So that's, you just go, give me that. You sound like one of those good junk commercials. You point and they take it out.
Yeah, some customers love it. Although on the nice days, they really wish they could get out there, kind of walk around, the 4 acres that we have here in Hopkinton. But when it's a rainy day, they love it because they don't have to get out of their car. They point to what we want. We pick it out for them, and we pull a cart alongside the other side of the table that they're driving from. And we ended up at a checkout shed, and the plants are all there in a cart. We get their name. We get their credit card number. They read it to us. It was no touch. They hit the button to open their hatchback or trunk, and we put it in along with the receipt, and they drive off. So it's been pretty cool, actually. A lot of people really like that. I'm thinking of doing that on a normal day.
Well, and you also have something else, too, and I don't know if you're still doing it now. If you want completely no touch, you're still running your service department and your installations.
Yeah. So there's the curbside pickup where people can call in and they can pull in and get out of their cars and load themselves. There's the delivery where they just call in and pay, and we deliver it in a couple days or longer or further out. And we still do planting as well. So people are calling in for all those things. And then we have another drive-through lane in the 4 acres where if people want to do a project with trees, shrubs, perennials, as we expand and bring in more material, which I'm being cautious with how much material we bring in.
Sure.
We don't know how this is going to work yet, but we have a ever-changing kind of a parade route where we bring a little of everything along both sides of the car and we drive around a bigger area.
I drive by and it looks like someone's taking their auto test with all the cones and
cones everywhere. Yep. So far, nobody's run over a shrub or a toe, so it's good.
Now, the big question, and I haven't talked to the girls yet, but we're going to see some hot dogs cooking there at the parking lot too?
Yeah, Lisa and Teresa are delaying their opening, I think.
Yeah.
Until after the executive order is lifted. So they may not be here until, who knows, Memorial Day or something.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to rebrand their model, because you know how it is, hands-on with their homemade condiments and everything, if they were going to change it. But that makes sense. And I see the sign opening soon, which gives us hope anyways that this may be over sometime. So what could a person do to keep themselves busy right now if we were going to start doing stuff today? I mean, is it ever too early to plant tomatoes? Is it what can people do today?
Yeah, with vegetables, you don't want to plant tomatoes and peppers and eggplant. Those are warm season vegetables. Until the ground is 60 degrees or warmer, they're not going to grow anyway. They'll just suffer out there and get nailed by the other day. But
sure,
there are cold season vegetables. Kales, lettuce, beets, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. That's what we're selling now, both in a start, a little 6-pack or 4-inch, or the seeds that people can still start in their house now and bring out and plant up in a few weeks. The biggest thing we've been selling is bulk materials, mulches and compost and soils, because people are building new gardens for the first time and they need the compost mixed with the soil. And the mulching, oh my gosh, we are triple what we normally do this time of year, because that's a good activity. Spring clean up your planting beds and put the new edge and put the new mulch down, the weed control, whatever. That's what's really taken off the most over the last 3 weeks.
Peter, that brings to mind the question I had for you was, I know you do both commercial and residential. So are you still seeing a lot of commercial? Are the landscapers getting out and getting business going? Are you able to help support them in their process as opposed to just the residents driving through and picking up things?
Yeah, our commercial or our wholesale side is half of what we do, more than half. And that, the same thing, they didn't know if they were essential in the beginning, and they are essential now. A lot of what they have to do, arborists are a good example. They have to deal with safety issues with the tree falling down in somebody's yard. But even mosquito control, tick control, just general maintenance is safety related sometimes too. So a lot of these guys are still in their cleanup mode with the mulching and the edging and the spring cleanups, but that's getting going. People are using this downtime to not only do it themselves, but have somebody do it for them too. And we're seeing that our landscape activity, probably even with last year, even though there are some companies out there who are saying we don't feel like we're essential and we can afford not to open. We didn't have to buy all this inventory like the garden. So they pause for a little bit easier than we can with our inventory investment being so ramped up right now. They can pause, and we all know what's going on at home. If you stay at home, it's almost an incentive to stay at home with the wages that a lot of these laborers are making. Right. You're getting double your unemployment. So it's sometimes landscape companies are saying, I'm going to go halfway or pause for a little while, and we're seeing some of that too, where they're not fully operational yet.
That must make it difficult for you to maintain any kind of on-site inventory. It must be a ongoing problem to try and keep up with stock or not buy the stock in order to have it available for these companies without knowing when the peak is going to start to hit.
Right, because our spring is it. And if this thing goes into late May or June, we're through our halfway point. People don't think of planting projects when it's hot out. They want to go on vacation, do other things. Who knows what this year is going to be like? We're predicting that we're going to drop 20% from where we normally are this year. That's just a guess at this point.
And that's at all three places? Everything's the same?
Yeah, consolidated, because we have the Chelmsford store and the Hingham store as well.
Right.
But 20% would pertain to the two stores that existed in the past. Hingham's a new store. And we're buying less according to that. And the whole industry is doing that. So lot of our suppliers all of a sudden have a lot more availability, which is great, but we don't really want to bring 10 in. We want to bring 5 in. So we're kind of keeping it tight.
Now, other than your living stock, your trees and shrubs and the perennials and so forth, what about, do you see people using between the hardscapes and the lawn furniture, the fire pits? And I mean, do you see that being something too, that they're going to make their yards more for an audience at of course, at a distance now, but do you see those going out? The fire pits?
People are still doing their 4-step lawn program, buying our Jonathan Green fertilizer. That's been pretty brisk. Like I said, the mulches and the bulk are through the roof. Yeah, I think, again, people are looking for something to do. And the hard part for us is we don't let people in the store. So what we've done is in one of our 2 lanes that I mentioned, we're putting it, we rented a tent 40 feet by 10 deep. We're trying to bring out all of our inside stuff so they can see it, whether that's a remedy for a plant pest or a tool or these fertilizers for your lawn. And we're just loading those the same way we're loading the plants too, because more people actually spend money on maintaining what they have than installing a new garden.
Sure. So and you know me, I've never been a green thumb, and I've always looked for your advice. Usually it was for landscaping after a job or something. But now I'm thinking, well, maybe I should try it, And I was thinking about getting started. So I got this little pot right here, a little group, and I get this great spot in the kitchen window, but it is west facing. It's only big. So what can I get started in this? I want to go small before I get big.
You need to come in and get some seeds.
Yeah, well, where do I put it? What kind of thing can I grow and maintain?
Not much in that thing.
Some kind of little shrub that only stays this much, and I water it and trim it. Yeah.
I would go with sprouts on your windowsill.
Yeah.
Bonsai tree? Maybe a bonsai tree fit in there?
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe he could go to your website, Peter, and look at some of the plants that are available, and then he could make his own choice to buy.
I wouldn't know. I need everyone's advice down there to tell me what to do. I don't know.
You need a bigger pot, my friend.
That's true. Maybe I'll work on that. Maybe I'll convert this coffee mug into something.
Yeah.
So speaking of advice, you guys are always giving advice for free all the time. And I know your workshops aren't going on, nobody's are, and whatever. Do you offer a virtual workshop, or do you offer FaceTime advice, over the phone advice still? What's going on?
We are doing a few of those, but it's been tough. We had about 25 to 30 events and seminars. Events are when people come in and build, or workshops rather, when people come in and build things like a terrarium or something. And a seminar is when we just talk about how to prune or how to do your own home design. We canceled all of them. And we've added a few back on virtual with these Zoom type formats, but the reality is we don't have enough staff to do them right now. We're only open 5 days a week in Hopkinton because we don't have enough staff. So when we're open, the phones are ringing off the hook, and we can't keep up with that. If we did have more staff, we would be able to open 7 days a week and maybe do some of these workshops. But right now, we're laying low on those things.
So you mentioned the word events. Yesterday was Patriots Day. What happens on Patriots Day in Weston?
Oh yeah, the weather was good this year.
Weather was good. Last 2 years we got rained on, and this year here, it's not just a party; it's a fundraiser for the Jimmy Fund.
No, this one was for the marathon, the 26.2 Foundation.
Oh, this one for 26.2, and so without that going, now we're going to see the marathon in the fall. Is that going to push off your Jimmy Fund walk? Is that push off Blooms, Brews, and Barbecue? Does it, or that's not even in your mind right now?
Yeah, we thought about it a little bit. I mean, the marathon's on September 14th, and we are looking at September 13th is when we had picked to do our Blooms, Brews, and Barbecue, which I think we can still do, but that's a fundraiser for the Jimmy Fund. And
Right, that's the Jimmy Fund.
that's what's weird about it is the next day is the marathon, and that would have been the 26.2 Foundation fundraiser we did this April.
Right, I got it backwards. Yeah.
Truth be known, we weren't gonna do it this year anyway. Ted Twinney and I discussed it, and he was a partner with me. We're both corporate founding sponsors of the 26.2 Foundation. Yep. And the last 2 years, with the risk of having it and the weather the way it turned out, we chose not to do it. Yes, this year would have been in the 40s, but still not great, for an outdoor event. Didn't rain at least, but so I don't know what the future of that one. We may find other alternatives. Definitely the fall Blooms, Brews, and Barbecue has been a winner every year. This will be the 4th year coming up there.
Right.
We're going to do it. We may change the date, but I think we're going to hold to that date, and it'll be right on marathon weekend.
What a way to celebrate the weekend too, especially after, missing out in the spring, a beautiful day for the race. It was good to see that the runners stayed away. They took the town's order serious. And there was a good police presence. I get a picture of all the sheriffs at the high school and all our local boys at the starting line, and everyone stayed away. And you see it all the time. All the runners go by all the time, the training runs and just the casual runners. And to see the streets empty yesterday is just,
it's weird.
When was the last time you saw that?
Never. I mean, I live right here too, but our nursery's on the 1 mile marker, and it was, there were a few stragglers I saw run by, but like you said, they really enforced it, and they didn't want anybody doing it. People did listen, and just weird. Everything's weird these days, Mike.
It is. It's not getting any nicer. So you mentioned the founders, one of the co-founders of the 26.2, the Chamber of Commerce. You're active in the Chamber of Commerce. You're always at every event that I'm at. You're always there. And have you guys met virtually, or are they communicating with all the members? And you got to feel what's going on with our businesses in town, the ones that had to close and the ones that are staying open. Have you heard what's going on?
I'll admit I missed the last meeting, and they did a Zoom meeting like this, and I missed that one. And I wish I didn't, because I would like to know more about how other businesses are doing. I mean, there's got to be, somebody like Swoon, I don't think could be open at all. And I wonder how well Bills are doing with the takeout business. I don't see many cars when I drive by. So, I really worry about the restaurants. Everybody's worried about the restaurants.
Yeah, I created a list on the HCAM TV website of all the restaurants in Hopkinton, who's open, who's not, with their new hours, their on-site menus, their new menus based on, because a lot of them are limited menus, but, like Cornell's is open Thursday through Sunday now from noon to 8, and they're doing deliveries, they're doing, curbside pickup, just to keep things going. And it's not so much that they're doing it to make money. They're giving to the community. They want to help. Everyone's in tough times, and they're helping out, and the people are really showing their appreciation to them by fostering.
I mean, for our family, like I mentioned, we have 4 of us living with us now. It's an adventure, and we try to go to takeout probably 3 or 4 times a week at least.
Sure.
We're doing takeout. We're spreading it out. We're doing pizza one night.
Yep.
And
I got the chicken pot pie from the Spoon the other night.
Yeah.
They give it to you all made. All you have to do is put it in the oven for 40 minutes. It was fantastic.
I'm going to try that next, actually.
That's great. Yeah, the Spoon's got a great takeout. Bill's is still going. All the pizza places, Muffin House. Doing it. Even Hopyo. Hopyo is, you can design your own yogurt kits, family packs, and bring them home, and you set up through email a time you want to pick them up, and then they arrange it, boom, come out to your car.
That's one thing we're working on with our business is if we had a stronger online component where people could go through and not just fill out a form and email it to us, but actually e-commerce. So we're using this opportunity over the next few weeks to try to get an online business going. I don't know how far we're going to get, but a lot of people in our industry who have that component, I think, are doing better because they have that.
Yeah, some businesses I saw, because I maintain that list every day because the hours change as the weeks go on. People say, is it worth it? Some will stop doing it, And I've even seen Hopio, they use simple Google Forms. You want this, check it off, and write a special note, and you're done. So it could be that simple. You don't have to, get your big web designer in to make something.
Right.
This is like yours. Yeah, you maybe you don't want to leave it to a simple Google form. Yours is a little bit more technical.
Well, that's the next thing we can talk about. Melissa's working on it now, and we'll see if it takes off. I'm going to want to let people know about that. That could be a big part of our future. And this is what happens in these times. You look for opportunities, trying to make lemonade out of lemons, right?
Yeah. So what's the kind of stuff you're doing at home with the kids? I mean, there's got to be, I know you got to be some themes. You get some themes going on.
So my kids were never held to do enough chores all growing up, and now I'm making them do stuff because we're working all the time.
Right.
So they're mowing the lawn, they're spreading that mulch around that got dropped off the other day. They're coming up with creative things on their own. They're doing artwork like they've never done before. My daughter in particular is an artist.
Yep.
They're busy too. They're still in school.
Right.
And the school took about 3 weeks to really, look like the kids had enough to do with all the teachers getting used to the Zoom and the teaching. So they have group projects now, just like before, and we need them working at the nursery. I feel like a potato farmer in Maine. Take time off from school and come work. They're really busy too, and I feel fortunate because I think a lot of people probably are crawling out of their skins at home, but our family, oh my God, we're keeping them busy.
Well, you mentioned, Peter, that those individuals that you have at home are back from college now. I suppose they would have some insight into technology and how things are happening today. Maybe you could incorporate some of their projects into coming up with some marketing strategies for you in the future. It seems like many of these companies, like you said, are going to take advantage of this over the long term, even after this crisis is averted.
Yeah. I question the whole thing about real estate in this country when all these people are figuring out that they don't need to do things. They can do things with less. They can do things without the expenses of the commuting and the time it takes. It's going to be different after this.
Right. But fortunately, people will still, at least from what I've seen, they'll still want to take care of their property, take care of their yards, grow grass and plants. But on a larger scale, for businesses, mainly commercial, these new buildings that are going up that have condos, townhouses, they don't really have a large yard work. They don't have a lot of landscaping that goes on, but that's where people are moving.
Well, that's the part of our business that took the hit the most. We have built this greenhouse 2 years ago now, and our indoor plant sales have been the big boom for us, actually. People are really in because they're living in smaller spaces in the city more now, and they want houseplants. We've sold virtually no houseplants over the last month because nobody can walk in. So we need to work on that too. Maybe there's a way we can do videos weekly or something like that. Again, it's just a matter of we don't have a lot of people that can do anything else but answer the phones. And when we do these drive-through things, it's about 3 times the amount of work versus somebody shops themselves and puts it on their cart. We have to do all that. So it's actually tiring.
Right. And it made me think that what you mentioned earlier, it's not just you have people coming to buy plants, but you have acres of plants to take care of. The plants don't care whether there's a pandemic or not. No. They still need to be taken care of. So somebody's got to get up and get out there in the field.
Yep, we have to do that. And that was essential from the beginning. That was never in question. It was the customer facing. Are you open to the customers?
Right.
You always water and take care of our plants and employ the people who do that. But now if somebody wants to spend a lot of money, I mean, we sell big plants here and they want to see this one and they want to see that one. And literally we're saying, okay, I'll bring it out to you. We lift it up, put it on the cart. Do you like it? Not what I was thinking. But I got to say, the customers have been great. They understand there's 2 cars behind them and they got to keep it moving. And, they're thankful that we're open. So many have said, I love the fact you guys are doing this in a safe way and that you're open because it gives us, it's been so reassuring and motivational to our staff to see the happy people that are coming through here.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I see that too. And I think, and I'm just going to speak from the town of Hopkins itself. You knew you're going to get that kind of reaction from your Hopkinton residents, because you know when there's a crisis, how no matter how small, whether we lose some child to a tragic disease, to someone getting hurt, wherever there's any kind of cause, people just step up. And I see the residents here really stepping up to support the businesses, because how many times do these people come to you, Pete, and say, hey, we're having a little fundraiser, we're looking for raffle prizes. It's time that people start giving back to these businesses that need to stay open.
Yeah. And another big thing that is coming from our customers is I'd rather go to you guys than the box stores, because the box stores aren't taking it as far as we are. They are still letting people walk around. And now some of the states are cracking down on it, but they had a distinct advantage early on because they were essential with the hardware and the electric and the plumbing.
Yep.
And their garden centers off to the side went right along with that. All the independents in Massachusetts, and I'm on the board of the Mass Nursery and Landscape Association. I'm actually the president right now. It was my job to influence the right thing to do with the mom and pops and the independent garden centers in the state. And that was curbside delivery and pickup in the beginning. This drive-through thing, others can do that too. But it was basically, don't just do what the governor allows you to do, or the legislators allow you to do. Go a little above and beyond that, because we're in this for the long run. Your staff's going to support that. They're going to be proud to be part of that. So I've had customers come in and say, give me a wheelbarrow. I know I could go and get a cheaper one, because our wheelbarrows are going to be more expensive. They're going to be better, but they're going to be more expensive. I know I could get a cheaper one at Home Depot, but you guys are doing it right. So we bring the wheelbarrow right out and put it in the back of the vehicle. And had a lot of people support us by realizing that, and it's not just us, it's angels on the other side of the town. It's all the independent nurseries and garden centers in the state are doing the right thing.
So the last question I have for you, because we're just about end of the show here. Do you see what you're doing now, and I'm talking more of the precautions you take, do you see down the road that these are going to be things that we're going to be doing all the time? It's going to be the new normal? Some of the way you have contact with your customers?
Yeah. This whole drive-through thing is interesting. I seriously kind of like it. In the beginning of the year, it might be an encouragement to come in. And like I say, we're working on online. I think we definitely have to mix brick and mortar with at home or e-commerce in the future. And, there's a lot of support-based companies in our industry that are saying we can make it easy for you to do, And I'm looking at this website and that website and saying, let's model after these. And I think that's the big change. Other than that, I think, we're trying to make sure, like I say, we're in it for the long run, and that our staff feels good about working for a company that has our viewpoint on things.
Right. And you always, put the employees out there first. I mean, you can see it in their faces when you go in the store. Peter, thank you again for taking your time out of your busy day. I know you're going to get out there and show some shrubs off somewhere. So thanks for staying with us and hanging out. And I want you to send my best to the family. Hope everyone stays safe.
Thank you, Mike and Bob. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks. And so for my co-host, Bob Hamilton, I'm Mike Terosian. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Hopkinton Hangout Hour.